Kia ora koutou, haere mai ki te webinar for Growing Connections and Confidence on teaching in mental health education. He pukinga ahu ki te whare wananga o Waitaha, he kai whakaherea hau ki te ako hauora Aotearoa, ko Rachel Dixon toku ingoa. So my name's Rachel and I'm from the University of Canterbury, also co-chair of NZHEA. And I did this webinar in September for a small group of people. I didn't record it at the time, just I wanted to make sure people felt comfortable asking questions and things like that. So as promised, here's the recorded version. Today I'm going to talk about some resources that are out there to support mental health teaching and learning, in particular at the primary school level. And I'm also going to do a little bit around the mental health education guide, which just came out today. So I'm going to start with a little bit about what a health education approach to mental health education is. So we see mental health education not just the domain of health education or health and physical education, but that is the learning area in which mental health education, I guess, finds its natural home. And it is a key area of learning in our curriculum area. So we have 7 key areas of learning, and kind of 4 of them are health education specific, one of them mental health education. So as part of, by virtue of being part of the health and physical education learning area, mental health education is framed by our 4 underlying concepts, and those concepts therefore influence how and what is taught in the name of mental health education. So just quickly to run through those, we've got hauora, so we're talking about a well-being approach to mental health. Health promotion, so around the skills and actions that we can take and others can take to enhance the well-being of ourselves and others in communities. Attitudes and values, so we have particular attitudes and values that we privilege in our learning area, on top of the values of the New Zealand curriculum in the front end. And socio-ecological perspective, which is about the interactions between people at those different levels, we kind of say personal, interpersonal, societal, or self, others, and society, and those interactions go both ways. In terms of the topics and context for learning, I'm just going to flick over to the brand new Mental Health Education Guide, and there's a page there that I felt was quite usefully summed that up. So mental health education has a broad scope. I kind of talk about it in terms of the health education key area of learning. It kind of is the one with the most stuff sort of under it. There's a lot in there. So you can see that it's about personal identity, resilience, and the skills to advocate for yourself and to be well. Discrimination and stereotypes. Connecting ourselves to other and connecting ourselves to place and people. Connections to our cultural traditions and norms and things that are special to us. Supporting and coping with situations of change, loss and grief. Anything to do with really drugs and alcohol, so alcohol and drug education fits in the mental health education key area of learning. Things around abuse and harassment, colonisation and decolonising actions that we need to take for promotion of mental health. And the impact of digital environments as well on mental health, so social media, online behaviours and those sorts of things as well. So there's a lot here. Nice note here around mental health education not being for the purpose of mental health intervention. It's about the learning that's involved. And just flicking over here, this is the hpetki.org.nz homepage, and I'm finding the top item on the list, a mental health education guide. You've also got the relationships and sexuality education guide, which was written by the same main authors, so it comes as no surprise really that the mental health education guide is laid out in a very similar way. So if you're familiar with the RSE guides, this one should make a lot of sense for you from the outset. A couple of wee videos that have been developed as well to support the guide. Just the lead authors there, Katie Fitzpatrick and Melinda Webber, talking about the guide And the second video there is Melinda Weber talking about the mana model, which is used in the guide. Really good little watches there. If I want to download the guidelines themselves, I click on that and it takes me to the guide. Hard copies are being sent to schools as well for the start of term 4. I like the key learning charts, like in the RSE guide. There we go, we've got level 2 here. Each level of the curriculum has got the key learning charts. I like using these as a bit of a stock take. You could have a think about to what extent your programs of learning connect with these learning outcomes that are stated here. They're not, we have a framework curriculum rather than a prescriptive curriculum. So this is just as a guide and ideas that might fit. And like in the RSE guide, the key learning has been organised by the 3 strands here. The 4 strands actually. Strand A, personal health and physical development. Strand B, movement concepts and motor skills. Probably a little bit less connection to that across the curriculum than the other 3. Relationships with other people and healthy communities and environments. So you've got the strand A to D there. Coverage. So 1 or perhaps more pages for each curriculum level there. So I'm going to just flick back to the PowerPoint there, and I'm mainly just going to talk about mainly 2 resources and a couple of others today. So the first one is Sparklers, which I believe many primary school teachers and school leaders are familiar with and already use. On the Sparklers website, you can see the link there. You'll find around late 80s activities. And there's all sorts of ways that you can search for those. They have got some curriculum links made, and a lot of the activities have got worksheets or resources that go along with them. There's a few themed activities too around conservation, matariki, and Te Whare Tapawha. There's also an activity around, or 2 perhaps, around the Whanawhale model of health as well. So quite a wide range of resources. Sparklers is aimed at children years 1 to 8. So there's plenty in there for those primary school age children. The other one here that I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about was Mental Health Education and Hauora. This is a book that was published by NZCER and written by the lead authors as well of the Mental Health Education Guide, Katie and Melinda, with a few other teachers as well. This book here is organised into 4 sections. We've got sort of personal identity and who you are, those sorts of things. We've got Hauora, well-being. We've got interpersonal skills, and we've got health promotion. The interpersonal skills section is quite comprehensive, with a lot of activities that help young people develop understanding of interpersonal skills, but also practice them. The resource there, I've got the link where you'll find the resource at the end of the PowerPoint. It is housed on the NZHEA website. You can still buy copies from NZCER Press. I think it's still in print. They're $60, but we do host the PDF for free. You can download it and print it out yourself. I do also believe that all schools with year 7 and upwards students have received a copy of this when it was published in 2018. So it might be hiding away somewhere. I should have said that this resource is aimed at years 7 to 10, 11. The other little resource that goes alongside this one is a set of 10 theme sheets, which are also housed on our NZHEA website, and they kind of show how you might clump a series of activities or learning activities from the resource into a theme. And you can see there that one is wellbeing and taking action to promote wellbeing. I'm not going to talk about this resource because that's senior secondary, but if you are teaching Year 7, Year 8 students, you may find a few things useful in this alcohol and other drug education in the New Zealand curriculum resource from NZHEA. There's quite a lot in there. It's about a 300-page resource. It was written for sort of like years 9 to 13, but there may be some things in there if it's a learning need for your students in those intermediate or senior primary levels of schooling. Again, probably more secondary for the 2 teaching resources there, but the energy drinks and vaping in particular may be relevant for your Year 7, Year 8 students. Want to talk a little bit about this resource here, Community Consultation Health Education. That resource there is a really valuable tool if you are not 100% sure around the 2-yearly community consultation for health education, the process, the legal requirements or obligations, and actually how to go about doing it with some examples and survey questions and templates and things like that. So you'll find this to be a really rich resource, and I do have the link for you at the end of this presentation. So that's a few resources that are out there for teaching mental health education in primary schools. I'm sure that you also know of a lot others you might use, but those are just a few that sprung to mind when I wanted to present around this stuff. So I'm just going to awkwardly talk through this last slide a teeny bit just so that you've got it on the video long enough to type in any of these that you want to. There's the Mental Health Education Guide, which just came out today. We had a look through that. Sparklers. Mental Health Education in Hawera, the NZHEA website there will take you straight to that. You can download the PDF and the theme sheet PDF as well. There is also a little video about the resource with Kat Wells on the that same page. The alcohol and drugs and anything around the mental health and resilience, which was more for senior secondary, it was for older young people. Also there in our healtheducation.org.nz website and resources. Actually, I will take this moment to mention we did also publish a resource around teaching and learning around consent, and that's on that same link there around the resources. That is was designed for both primary and secondary school audience. And the Tutudu resources, they can be found on the Tutudu website, and there's the toolkit link there. Not quite sure if that one is 100% up to date, but I think you'll find it will take you there. The other way to get to the health consultation stuff, I think it's tutudu.org.nz/health consultation will take you straight to this page as well.